Hi, welcome to the project. My name is John Cunningham. I'm with Complete Safety. This job is ran by Shaw Construction. I'm here today to give you guys a site tour, explain our safety rules to you, and answer questions you may have. So if you're ready to get started with the tour, let's go. It is your job to have respect for the job and its hazards on our project. Your employer is required to provide its employees with a safe and healthful workplace. And with that said, your employer must train you to understand the hazards you encounter. In addition, it is up to you to practice safe work practices and avoid hazards. General safety rules. All extension cords must be at least 12 gauge in size and in good working condition. Extension ladders. All must be in good working condition with no modifications. You must maintain a 3-point of contact, always facing the ladder, no leaning past your belt buckle to the side rails, and your ladder used to get to another surface must be secured and extended and on a firm surface. Step ladders must always be used in the open position, placed on a firm surface, and you may not stand on the top 2 steps of the ladder. Remember, damaged ladders are required to be red tagged and not used. Hot work permits are required anytime you create a spark or flame. Using a grinder, cutting with a demolition saw, welding, and soldering all create an ignition source. These activities require a hot work permit prior to starting the work. You may obtain your hot work permit from the General Superintendent. Powdered shots for Hilti type guns may never lay on the floor or ground, even if they are all spent. Put all non-usable shots into a proper box and dispose of them when they are full. Do not forget, loaded guns may not be left unattended. Reporting of injuries. If you experience an injury on the site, you must come to the trailer for first aid attention. If injuries require seeking medical attention, you must have a co-worker take you to the nearest facility. If the injury is very serious or life-threatening, call 911, and all injuries must be reported to the site superintendent immediately. Reporting of unsafe conditions. If you see a safety hazard on the site or you create one, it is your responsibility to fix the hazard you created or alert your supervisor to the hazard. According to the National Safety Council, 75% of all accidents are preceded by one or more near misses. Near misses are opportunities to learn from accidents without the injury. If you experience a near miss in which no one was injured, or worse, you are expected to document the miss and provide the documentation to your site superintendent. Near miss reports are available in the trailer for you to use. First aid and medical. In the event of a bodily injury, a fully stocked first aid kit is available for use and is equipped with supplies to handle small cuts, small objects in your eyes, and minor burns. Additionally, the kit has barrier equipment to protect you from contact with bodily fluids or bloodborne pathogens. Remember, cuts larger than 1 inch or cuts with sides which do not come back together warrant medical attention. If the injuries are severe and require immediate transport to a hospital, call 911 immediately and provide care. Hazard communication. During your workday, you may need to handle chemicals, and when it comes to dealing with chemical hazards, you as an employee have the right to know about the chemical hazards you face. The Right to Know Act requires your employer to communicate the hazards and require protection associated with handling those chemicals. Safety data sheets, or SDSs, have been developed by manufacturers to communicate the hazards and inform you of the proper PPE to wear. In addition, SDSs inform you on what to do in the event of a spill, or if you get the chemicals on your body. Your SDSs are required to be on site for you to review prior to using the chemical. Your SDSs can be found in the job trailer on site. Emergency response. On a construction project, all the safety planning in the world cannot always prevent an emergency. Emergencies can range from natural disasters to workplace accidents to spills, fires, and so on. On our project, we post the emergency response procedures near the main door of the General's office trailer. Be sure to review where you are required to meet for a head count in the event of an emergency. It is your responsibility to get to the meeting area immediately and wait for additional instructions. When you set up for work in an area, review the locations of the nearest fire extinguishers and evacuation routes. Also, Fire extinguishers should be located every 100 feet and near exit doors. Slips, trips, and falls are one of the leading causes for numerous injuries and many deaths each year. To prevent these common accidents, all it takes is a little common sense and safe work practices. You may not know this, but good housekeeping during the entire building process is one major factor to a safe site. So, start with proper housekeeping of the project. Try to keep debris cleaned up and organized. Ensure all exits, stairs, and hallways are clear. Leaving things or laying around on the floor or stacks of materials can lead to hazards. In addition, poor housekeeping can slow a person down when trying to exit in an emergency. When the weather turns on us, you may need to be a little extra cautious when walking. It is essential to address slip hazards such as ice and snow, or even those wet boots on slick floors. Personal protection equipment, or PPE, is your first defense in hazard and exposure protection. Each part of your PPE protects you from processes you perform or processes performed by others around you and possible exposure of chemicals. Each part of your PPE will protect various body parts, so be sure you inspect your PPE prior to each use and to replace damaged or dirty PPE. Hard hats are key to head protection, so your hard hat must meet ANSI specifications. Your hard hat must be in good condition and not expired. All hard hats must be worn with the bill of the hat to the front. In addition, baseball caps are not permitted under your hard hat. For normal construction activities, eye protection is required at all times on our site. All it takes is one small particle flying into your eye to damage your vision. Your eye protection, including prescription eyewear, must be ANSI Z87 certified and also have side shields. We only permit clear or lightly tinted eye protection indoors. If you are a welder or using lasers, consult with your supervisor for the proper protection. Safety vests or high visibility shirts and hoodies are required on the project at all times. Safety vests add to your safety on the site. Proper work boots are essential to your workday. Proper work boots can prevent slips, damages to your foot from heavy objects, protection from cuts, and protection from ankle injuries. Boots must be at least 3/4 tall. Hearing protection protects us from high levels of noise above 85 decibels, which can create temporary or long-term hearing loss. Face shields are required on our site at all times when using a tool equipped with an abrasive wheel. So just to be sure everyone understands, you are required to always wear your hard hat, safety vest, boots, and eye protection at all times. Excavations and trenches. Excavation and trenching are among the most hazardous construction operations. Excavations or trenches entered by workers which are deeper than 4 feet require a ladder for egress. Use caution when working within 6 feet of the edge of any excavation or trench. Workers entering excavations or trenches greater than 5 feet in depth are required to be protected from a cave-in. Therefore, you may not enter an excavation deeper than 5 feet until a competent person has provided you protection, provided proper egress and access, and has documented their inspection. So do not risk your life going into an excavation or trench deeper than 5 feet. Cave-ins happen without sound, and they happen without warning. Fall protection. As you might guess, falls are the leading cause to workplace fatalities on a construction site. In fact, in 2014, 349 workers fell to their death. On our projects, fall protection is top priority. Fall protection is required at all times by everyone when working within 6 horizontal feet from an edge which has a fall greater than 6 feet. Examples would be roofs, edges of floors without guard railing, near open windows, on balconies, when operating an aerial lift, and so on. Anyone who anticipates using a fall harness and fall equipment is required to be provided with the site-specific fall awareness talk, and the talk must be conducted by your company's fall protection competent person prior to you working in the harness. If you do not have a fall protection competent person, inform the general superintendent. Silica. During your work activities, you may come into contact with silica dust. The fine white silica dust cloud is created when cutting, grinding,
drilling or when sweeping concrete, stone, or monocoat. It is also found in the mixes for masonry and stucco. Crystalline silica is the basic component of soil, sand, granite, and most other types of rock. Silicosis is a progressive, disabling, and often fatal lung disease created by inhalation of silica dust. More than 250 people die each year from the disease. Inhalation of silica dust is hazardous to you. The silica dust can cause lung cancer or silicosis within 30 years. There is no cure for silicosis, only prevention. So please refer to your company health and safety plan and to the product SDS for information concerning exposures and protections. OSHA requires your employer to provide you with the proper protection equipment and to prevent exposure to you and your fellow co-workers. Use the respiratory protection as directed by your employer and the product SDS. Operations using water during the creation of dust is always preferred over dry methods. Hand and power tools. Now we all know there are many hand and power tools used on our construction projects. We cannot conduct many of our work activities without the proper tools. It is important to use the right tool for the right job. If you're not familiar with using a tool, consult with your supervisor. Tool inspection is required before each use. Damaged tools must be red tagged and removed from the site immediately. If a tool came with a guard from the manufacturer, the guard must be used. Watch out for moving and spinning parts. These can often lead to severe injury if contact is made. And using tools properly and wearing the proper PPE, in addition to keeping body parts out of the way of contact, is highly important. Electrical safety. Most often than not, it is a worker's misunderstanding of electricity and how it works that creates hazards. A good grounding conductor is made of metal in most cases. Unfortunately, our bodies are also good conductors of electricity. If an electrical current uses our body as a ground, it could lead to shock, burns, fire, bleeding, and possibly death. Electricity or electrical currents are always looking for a path to a grounding device. The use of GFCIs is required on construction projects. This device will protect you from the electrical shock when properly used. Equipment operation. OSHA requires operators of forklifts and aerial lifts to be certified operators. If you operate equipment such as an aerial lift or forklift, you are required to be certified and you must have the certification with you when operating. If you do not have certification or it is expired, please communicate the fact to the site superintendent. You will be written up if you are caught operating this equipment without certification. Remember, when operating the aerial lift, you must be tied off with a connection device, which is 6 feet or less in length, as well as if your company is moving objects with a crane, a certified qualified rigger and signal person are required to rig all loads. Well, it is time for us to wrap up this orientation. We have discussed many hazards on the site, but not all hazards have been explained in this orientation. So it is up to you to use your common sense and to know when to ask your supervisor questions regarding your safety. Safety is always first. Lastly, we need you to review the orientation sheet we provided you, sign it, and submit it to the site superintendent. Thank you, and be safe out there.